Hey everyone, I hope you've been enjoying Rookies and Rulebooks so far. Episodes 1 and Episode 2 are up on the channels now. We'll have a link to those at the end in the cards. What we're going to do today, we're going to be leveling up our characters from level 1 to level 2. First, we're going to sit down with Jess, who plays Aurelia, the half-orc Paladin, and she's going to get access to some new stuff, and we'll answer any questions she has moving forward and see what her experience has been like so far. So let's go. All right, Jess. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. What have you thought so far? You've had 2 sessions worth of D&D so far. You've gotten 9 hours of D&D?
Yeah, give or take.
That's a lot. How do you feel?
I love it.
Yeah?
The second episode felt too short. I was already like, hold on, when's the next one? When are we doing the next one? I'm so pumped to keep going with this.
It's a balancing act, right? Because we'll normally all play D&D in person, and we'll play for 6 hours every time. But 6 hours on a live stream can feel like a lot. And when we're trying to do it for people to watch, that's a whole different, now we're dealing with something entirely different because someone's got to sit and watch that. So I think last time was kind of the sweet spot, maybe a little longer than last time. But that's kind of the goal for timing wise. But if we play more often, that'd be good. But we'll see. We'll
Yes.
As things develop, right? How do you like Aurelia? Wasn't your first character? This is the second character we made for this.
At one point, she was going to be a bugbear. So this is...
At one point, she was going to be a bugbear, but when we had first started doing this a year ago...
yes.
For anyone who doesn't know this, the process of getting this off the ground has taken about 2 years to get this started. When you and I had first made your first character a year ago, it was still Aurelia, and she was still going to be a paladin. But she was
an Eladrin paladin.
She was an Eladrin, and she was a lot more... She was just a lot different, and I'm really happy with this. This version's a lot more interesting, I think.
I love her. I love her so much. It's so much fun getting to play this big boy, tank of a creature that's actually just wants to be accepted and loved. It's just a very touching story.
Well, that's kind of that's one of the things. Everyone plays D&D differently, and everyone plays D&D for different reasons. But it's one of those things. For a lot of people, is exploring different aspects of characters, different aspects of who people are, and stuff like that. Some people just like the big swingy, fights, and some people, they want to have it be a character, almost a character study, right? Neither's right or wrong. I like both. But it's not something most people expect when they're first looking at D&D.
I wanted to be a pretty elf, and then I was like, actually, what kind of character do I want to play? Because everyone wants to play. I'm sure every woman wants to play a pretty, slender, gorgeous creature.
If we're looking at gender stereotypes, I've had a lot of female elf characters in the party, but I think that there's also a lot of people wanting to play those tomboy characters and those more breaking the gender stereotype mold. But I don't know that that's always their first instinct, right?
It wasn't mine.
So word of advice to people out there, this goes for everyone. Break your first instinct, because I will tell you, my first instinct. Not that this isn't about me today. We'll talk about my experience learning D&D and getting into it one day. But my first instinct as a player was to play a paladin. Was to play a knight, very very lawful good, upstanding knight. And for years I struggled with okay, do I want to play a knight or a sword mage, which is a class that doesn't exist in this edition anymore. But in the way back, 15 years ago days, we had a class called a Sword Mage, which now I guess would be an Eldritch Knight. That's not like what I gravitate towards anymore, right? I gravitate towards smart, wizardy dwarves and gnomes and stuff now, and it's like, yeah, you gotta find where that niche is for you, and also you gotta play different characters to learn, what you like, and you can't play the same thing for years. You'll get bored of it. That's when you jump to something new. But okay,
if you allow me to do another campaign, I'm gonna change. I know for a fact I will.
Yeah,
change,
well, and it depends how we, this is behind the curtain stuff for how this is going to be structured long term, but it depends how we move forward with it, and there's a couple options, but some of that involves airing more than every other 2 weeks. So
yeah,
we will see. We will see. I think there will be at some point. I think there might be multiple rookies and rulebooks parties going at the same time.
Yes.
Is part of my goal. We'll see. We'll see. All right, Jess. Now you're using the app, not the web page, right?
Yes. Would you prefer I use the web page?
It's whatever. It all works the same. For you, it's just about getting you to the right page. I don't know where it is. There should be a button that looks like a hammer and anvil, or something that says manage character.
Okay.
So I've got a button on my end. Yeah, you're fine. I've got a button on my end. If you're on the webpage for D&D Beyond, it looks like a hammer.
Oh, it tells me to edit my character on websites, so I don't think I'm allowed to edit it on the app.
Well, but it should launch you to the app on your phone still. Yeah. Also, bear with us if there's cuts in this video. Jess's video might cut out here and there occasionally. Good old New Zealand.
Not.
Good old New Zealand internet.
I had no issues, no tech issues.
You're right. That is true.
Yeah. I had no tech issues. Okay, cool. I see her. Now I'm looking for manage.
Yes. Oh, it didn't jump you over to the manage page on the so for me, if I go to do that, it'll open it up on the web page on my phone if I do it from my phone.
Oh. Weird. Okay.
I don't know what version you got and stuff like that.
See all my stats.
Okay, so you're going to make sure you're on that class page and you've got that level drop down. Go ahead and hit level 2.
It's happening.
Well, I guess I should ask. You have the option, if you don't want, you could take a level in another class instead of Paladin if you wanted.
No.
Okay.
No, I want to see where this takes me. I also haven't been able to experience being a Paladin.
No. Level 1 Paladin doesn't get a lot. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about, right? That's kind of what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how much is going to change with most classes. Your biggest changes will be the first 5 levels, and after that, it kind of, you always will get stronger and better, but it flatlines how much changes. The first 3 levels change the most.
Yay! So does that change my hit points?
It does. You have 2 options for your hit points. So you can either roll to determine your hit points. So you can roll a d10 and add your Constitution modifier. Or you could take just the standard, which for Paladin is 6 plus your Constitution. Oh. So if you roll, you have a potential to get a bunch, you have a potential to get more. But if you just take the standard, it's more reliable.
I'm gonna do the D10.
Okay, roll it for me.
Okay. I'm gonna roll it in D&D Beyond.
Oh, sure.
Wait, which one's the 10? How do I? Oh god, they don't even tell me.
The 10 is the third one down from the top.
Thank you kindly.
Yeah, that is weird.
I just roll it once, right?
Mm-hmm.
5, damn it.
Okay. So
damn
that
it.
Puts you at one hit point shouldn't really make that big of a difference.
Okay.
In the grand scheme of things. So that will put you from 12 to 19.
Okay.
So you're going to have 19 hit points.
Yay!
I will go in and manually change that later because we have it set to take the average. So I will just manually change that. First things first, we get to pick a fighting style for you. So you can go through and you can click on each option and read each one, but I'm going to read them for the class. The options are Blessed Warrior, which gives you cantrips. So it gives you, like Zach has Eldritch Blast, that spell he casts repeatedly. Blessed Warrior will give you Cleric cantrips. Blind Fighting, which lets you have blind sight with a range of 10 feet, meaning if you are blind or blindfolded or in the dark, you could still basically see everything within 10 feet of you.
Whereas if I was blindfolded, I'd be just aiming wildly and not knowing if I'm going to hit anything.
Right. So you could also see invisible creatures within 10 feet with blind sight, which is cool. You could take defense, which just gives you a +1 to your defense if you want to be more tanky. Dueling, which gives you a +2 bonus to attack and damage rolls if you only have if you're only holding one weapon, which you traditionally are. You'll lose that if you hold the weapon in two hands. So as long as you're holding the weapon in only one hand, you get a +2 bonus to damage rolls with your currently your hammer. You can take Great Weapon Fighting, which my page just crashed. Hold on.
Oh.
You take Great Weapon Fighting, which is for using two-handed weapons, if you wanted to. I don't think that's really what you're going for, because you want to use a shield, and you would lose your shield. You could take Interception, which allows you to reduce damage to your allies as a reaction. Ooh. So if an ally gets hit, you can reduce the damage to that ally.
Okay, I like that one.
Or Protection, which is kind of the same thing, but instead of it being damage, you can make it harder to hit them, harder to hit your allies. So there's no damage at all. You remember what advantage and disadvantage means, right?
Yes.
So Protection, as a reaction, you can apply disadvantage to an ally getting hit within 5 feet of you.
Oh.
So Protection and Interception are both only people that are like immediately adjacent to you. But yeah, they're both good for protecting your allies. But you also have to remember it.
Yeah, okay.
So most of these are good static bonuses. Protection and Interception are both something you have to remember to do. There's no wrong...
I kind of like Blessed Warrior.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I kind of do. I don't know. But then again, I don't know what any of these spells mean.
That's fine. We'll go...
Spells.
We will go through them.
I don't know. Is that dumb? Is it dumb to be a paladin with powers?
No. I mean, you're going to get other spells this level too.
Okay.
But they're not... The difference is these spells are things you can use repeatedly. There's no cost to these.
Oh.
Right?
Okay.
So these are things you can use with no cost whatsoever. With the spells you're going to get for your normal paladin spells, they're more limited. You only have 2 spell slots to use those, so those are a resource. These ones are just, they happen, right? So your options, if you want to go that route, are Guidance. You add a D4 to someone's roll. So like if, let's say someone's going to roll a stealth check, you could say, hey, I want to give them Guidance. You tap them on the shoulder, and they add a D4 to that roll.
Oh.
Or yourself. Light, it just creates a light source. It does what it says it does. Mending.
Yeah, we got one that already does that.
Yeah, but it's not a bad idea for multiple people to do that, right? It's always an option. Oh, we back? Okay, cool. Mending fixes a broken object. So, like, if you break your sword or you break through.
Wait, my sword can break?
We've covered this. Yeah, your sword can break. You also don't have a sword, you have a hammer. But, it's very unlikely.
Oh, no, we did cover this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But here's the thing, right? If your hammer breaks, you just pick up one of the bad guys' weapons.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
then
cool.
you go buy a new weapon later.
Okay, good. I don't need it then. Okay.
But mending would fix, like, if there's, like, a broken, like, statue or a broken, piece of art or something that you wanted to sell. You find in a dungeon it's a broken, like, little statue. You just cast mending and you go sell it. Resistance is bad. I'm not even gonna let you take resistance. It's bad.
Okay.
Sacred Flame causes a beam of holy light to fall from the sky and hit an enemy. It doesn't deal a whole ton of damage, but it's a ranged attack for you if you wanted.
Ooh.
Spare the Dying is... I'm going to look up the exact wording on Spare the Dying, because I have a feeling you're going to have follow-up questions on Spare the Dying. I know you well.
Yeah, I'm the question asker.
Yeah, that's fine. Totally okay. Spare the Dying is you touch a living creature with 0 hit points, the creature becomes stable. So they stop making death saves. It doesn't heal.
And that's also not an action, right?
No, it is an action.
No.
Right, so...
I thought you said I could do these as many times as I wanted.
Well, you can, but they don't... Okay, the difference is they still have action costs, but they're not... You could cast 2 spells per day with your spell level. We'll get to that. You have a resource for spells, right? Mm-hmm. You can't just infinitely cast powerful spells. These are meant to be simple spells that are, like, easy for you to do that don't cost... I
still have Lay on Hands, correct?
Yeah. So Spare the Dying, while I knew you would have questions on it because you're worried about characters dying, you have better options, and honestly, you could just do a medicine check to accomplish the same thing. So.
Well, that's what I was... Because here's what I was thinking, was, like, I've already got Lay on Hands, and if I've already got a thing for that... It seems ridiculous to do Spare the Dying because I don't even give them some health back. It's just like, yay, you don't have to do death save.
Right, exactly.
It sounded cool, and then I got into it, and I went, actually, the ramifications aren't that great.
Your next option is called Thaumaturgy, which allows you to do one of the following things. Your voice booms up to 3 times as loud, up to 3 times louder than normal for 1 minute. You can cause flames to flicker, brighten, dim, or change color for a minute. You can cause harmless tremors in the ground for a minute. You can create instantaneous sound that originates from a point of your choice within 30 feet, such as a rumble of thunder, a cry of a raven, or ominous whispers. Or anything else you can feasibly think of.
Okay.
You instantly cause unlocked doors and windows to fly open or slam shut.
So I'm a ghost, basically. I'm just there to spook people. I'm spooky.
Or you can alter the appearance of your eyes for a minute.
Oh,
so yes,
Anakin on them.
Yes, okay. You become this spell is become spooky.
Okay.
But it's also like think of like a priest delivering a big sermon, right? Mm-hmm. They're gonna make their voice boom and the flames flare and all that stuff, right? It's kind of
already have intimidation built in though, right?
Yeah.
So.
And you can cast the spell multiple times, and have up to 3 of the different effects running at the same time. Mm-hmm. And then your last 2 options are Toll the Dead, which the target hears a bell
Oh, properly toll. I thought I was going to get them to pay taxes as they were dying.
No, like for whom the bell tolls.
Whom the bell tolls. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I instantly went to, wow, we're going to tax them right before they die.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you're about to shuffle off your mortal coil. That will be 3 gold, please.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No. It is. You point at a creature within 60 feet, and they hear the sound of a dolorous bell. Oh no, the sound of a dolorous bell fills the air around it for a moment. The target must succeed on a wisdom save, or they take 1d8 necrotic damage. If they're already missing hit points, they take a d12 instead. So...
I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, do I want to be...
Yeah, because these would be things you're doing instead of hitting people with a hammer.
Yeah, so now I'm like, no, maybe not. I want to do ones that can help out my team. So maybe... defense?
Well, so defense makes you harder to hit, which is never a bad thing.
Which one's the one which helps them?
Interception and protection. Both
okay.
Give you options.
I want to do interception because I feel like my team sometimes die. I mean, they've died, passed out every session, so...
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
Alright, so go ahead and pick interception.
Yay. Okay.
Next, you get... Is there a place to show me the sheet?
Divine Smite?
Well, we'll get there in a second. So, because I'm going to explain this first. So you're going to get 2 first level spells.
Mm-hmm.
Or rather, you're going to get two what are called spell slots to cast first level spells. So that's your resource to cast spells, right? When you cast a spell, you'll...
How do I do that?
We'll get there on how it works in the character sheet later, but you're going to get 2 first level spell slots. When you use a spell, you're going to check off one of those boxes on your character sheet, and then you only have 1, right? When you take a long rest, you'll get them back. But you can cast any of your spells. You use those spell slots. That's your resource, right? That's what I meant by when the cantrips don't have a resource. These ones do, right? So these will still take an action or a bonus action or whatever, but they will not be... they're going to be more powerful than those spells we just talked about. In addition, we'll talk about what spells you get in a minute, but in addition to those spell slots, you're going to get Divine Smite. Whenever you hit someone with your hammer,
yes.
You could spend a spell slot and deal 2d8 extra radiant damage. So just Divine Light strikes out of your hammer and deals 2d8 damage, which your hammer currently does 1d8, so that's 3d8 damage on a Divine Smite. But like I said, you have those spell slots, right? You only have 2 of those, so that's juggling between your hammer or your Divine Smite and whatever spells you want to take, right? Okay. So it's going to be an opportunity cost thing. But Divine Smite is like why everyone picks a Paladin, right?
I just like the idea of the character itself.
Do me a favor. There's a tab up there for optional features, optional feature manager.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Click on that and click additional Paladin spells.
Clicked.
Cool. And then click on spells. And it should show prepared spells 0 and known spells.
Mm-hmm.
You know all of these spells. This whole list of spells, you know them. At the start of each day, you're going to choose 3 of these spells and prepare them, right? What that basically means is, like, in character, it means you're getting, like, whatever material components they have, so, like, one of these spells takes 25 gold worth of powdered silver, which the spell consumes, right? That means you're, like, getting that ready. It's in one of your pockets, ready to go for you to cast that spell. You're remembering whatever chant is required for it, whatever motions. At the start of each day, you're taking 3 of your spells and those are the spells you have prepared. So when you want to cast a spell, you're picking from one of those 3.
Okay.
Which means some of these spells will be more useful when you know that you're going to come into contact with something, right? Like, for example, Detect Good and Evil detects very specific creatures. If you don't think you're going to come into contact with those creatures, maybe not the right time to take that. But something like Cure Wounds, which just heals creatures, that's always going to be useful, right? You already know, hey, the more healing I have, the better. I should also note your Lay on Hands is no longer 5, it's 10.
Yes.
Every level that goes up by 5. So you have 10 points of that now. We don't have to go through all your spells now. You can, read through them and pick 3 of them that...
I'd like to, please.
What was that?
I'd really like to read. I see there's a lot of reading, so I'd like to read all the new second ones I have.
Yes, spell casting can be a lot of reading. And I'm sure you'll have questions for these, right? But
because it's me.
Because it's you, which is fine. I'll let you read through those, and then if you have questions about spells, we'll go through it.
So, for example, like with command, it's verbal. So that means that if I'm, say, gagged, I can't use that spell.
Correct.
However, if, like, say for the ones that are like VSM, can I be gagged and still perform the spell? Or do I have to be able to use all 3 of those things to be able to do it?
The components are VSM, which are verbal, somatic, and material.
That's right.
So verbal means there's some sort of chant or holy word that you invoke. Somatic means you're waving your hands or a holy symbol, right? Or a material is there's some sort of physical material component. In this case, it is a sprinkle of holy water. You have to be able to use all 3 of those things to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Just because I feel like that might come up at some point. So I need to look at these very carefully.
Yeah, it depends. There are some cases where they will.
So, I'm just trying to look through all my different spells.
Yeah, and like I said, you don't have to pick now, right? You just have to pick before Saturday. But it's a good idea to have like some backlog of this in the back of your head for like, when you guys go take a long rest, if you wake up and you're like, hey, you know what? Today I want to take, detect magic just in case we run into something where that's relevant, right? Gives you that option.
Okay. Ooh, it's okay. So I have to predict. I have to predict what's going to happen in the chapter. That's fine. There's only like a whole bunch of different creatures or things that could happen and things that I need to protect myself against. It's fine.
But also remember, like, in the last chapter, you guys did rest in the middle of that last chapter, right? So when you went back to rest, that next morning is when you get a chance to change your spells out, right? So you might run into something, go, let's retreat, let's go rest for a night, and I could take this spell and it's going to help us out.
Ooh.
Or you can, try to find out what you're going to run into ahead of time. You got options.
Okay. Ooh. What's range? When they say within range, when it says choose up to 3 creatures within range, what does that mean?
If you look at the top, it'll show your range. So what spell, for example?
Oh, 30 feet. Okay,
yeah,
aid.
Feet. Yeah, so up at the top it says range 30 feet. Give me a rundown. What are you currently liking?
Okay, let me go back to tell you which ones I like.
Choose like the first 3 you like, right? And then hit prepare. And then as you go through the rest of the list, go, okay, I like this one. Do I like it better than these other 3?
Oh.
Right? That's what I normally do, right? So let's say I'm going to start with Bless, Ceremony, and Command. And I'll go, but I really like Cure Wounds. Do I like Cure Wounds better than Bless, Ceremony, or Command? I like it better than Ceremony. So I'll unprepare Ceremony and prepare Cure Wounds. Right? Might be a better way to filter down.
Okay. That's a very smart way of doing it.
That's how I do it. Because I'm the same way. It's like, damn, I want all these spells. Which I guess is what, motivates you to level up, right? Like, you get more spells as you level up.
Okay, I'm liking some of the things in here. I don't know, I kind of like the ones I've got now. I've got reasons. I like Cure Wounds for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like, because the idea of having a command... Wait. Okay, so I have a question about command.
Wait
How does it work?
Wait is a command.
But, so, if I tried to use command on Nihilor the other day, how well would that have gone? Like, if I just tried to command him stop, or could I command anyone to die? Could I be like, die, and they will?
No.
Oh. It's a one word.
Right, but
I see no flaws in my argument here, okay?
So the spell has no effect if the target is undead, if it doesn't understand your language, or if your command is directly harmful to it.
Okay, well that's...
So stab yourself is not it's also got to be one word, right? But stab yourself would be a harmful, right? It gives you the examples, right? Approach, drop, flee, grovel, halt.
If I'd made him grovel, how would that have gone?
Well, he would have made a wisdom. So at the top, see it says attack/save, and it says wisdom 12.
Yes.
So he would have made a saving throw. So he would have rolled a d20 and added his wisdom to that, and he probably would have passed. Meaning
he would have had to pretty much get a 1.
No. He would have no.
Okay. So he's not like super duper overpowered, just kind of overpowered.
I will tell you what he needed to get. Let's find out.
I'd love to know.
Technically, I should not be revealing this information, but let's just for argument's sake find out.
I'm not a very smart person. I won't be able to figure out much from that. I'll take it as it is.
He would have had to get an 8 or higher.
On a D20?
Mm-hmm.
God damn it. Okay.
But like those goblins, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Would have had to get they would have had to roll a 13 or higher.
Ooh.
Right?
Okay.
So, and the other thing is, as you level up, that number will go up too, right? So it'll go from wisdom 12 to wisdom 13, wisdom 14, but the creatures will also get stronger. That scales off your charisma. So how high that number is scaling off your charisma.
Oh, right, because I did go with charisma, even though I didn't think I wanted it. Okay.
Right, but that's the paladin spellcasting stat. So that's that scales your paladin spellcasting.
Okay.
And your charisma is probably a +2. Yeah, +2 charisma.
Yeah.
So, because the DC is 10 plus your charisma. So it's showing you wisdom 12. It's 10 plus your charisma.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not, you are not the most powerful spellcaster as far as that goes, because you're more geared towards hitting things with your sword.
Yes. Okay, so question. Do my other stats go up with my thing? Like, do I hit harder?
Yeah, as you level up, most things get a little bit better. The things you're good at, the things you're supposed to be good at, will get better as you level up.
Okay. Because I know my hit points have gone up, but I didn't know about... Oh, does my armor class go up then?
No, armor class is directly related to literally the armor you're wearing.
Okay.
There are spells and stuff, and there are magic, there's magic armor that you could find, whatever, that's stronger.
Okay.
But The way
to to know what's changing.
The way to improve, so, and I should say that spell difficulty and your like to hit bonus with your weapon, they don't go up every level. They're going to go up every couple levels. Okay. If they go up in older versions of D&D, they would have gone up every level. D&D 5th edition has taken a lot of that and crunched it down. It's called bounded accuracy, basically meaning the accuracy is in a smaller range. Okay. So for example, in an older version of D&D, if you had tried to hit Nylor with your hammer, you wouldn't have been able to hit him just because he's so much higher level than you. But in this version of D&D, you'd still be able to hit him. He just has a lot of hit points comparatively, right? So that's what bounded accuracy does. It makes it so that like you can take on threats that are stronger than you. It's just very, very hard. Command is almost the only one on this list. Oh, command and compelled duel. Command, compelled duel
are the only ones that rely on that.
That are what we call a save or suck spell. Because they either fail the save or the spell sucks and you've wasted a spell. Right? Because the spell still right? If you cast command and it fails, you still use that spell
I've still
slot.
Done the action. Yeah.
So, but yeah, take. So for now, we're gonna go with bless, command, and cure wounds. So just so everyone just so if anyone watching this is wondering what those mean, bless means you could choose up to 3 creatures within range, and you give them a D4 bonus to attack rolls and saving throws. And it lasts for a minute, so 1 whole combat basically. Command is you point at a creature, you speak a word to them, and they have to listen to the word, assuming that they fail the saving throw. And cure wounds is you just heal them D8 plus your charisma. So D8 plus 2. Which is a decent chunk of hit points. So. And then when you go, now you can go back to your character sheet in D&D Beyond, now that we've picked your...
Yeah.
So if you go to that spells tab, if you notice above bless, command, and cure wounds, you have those 2 slots.
Mm-hmm.
So when you click, you have what?
I clicked it.
That's
I clicked
fine.
it. No, it
unclick it. It's fine. So you can either hit cast on the spell, right? So if you hit cast on bless, it will check off that spell slot. Or you could just check the spell slot if you wanted. Either way,
and then it tells me I can't cast them. Oh, I love it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So that will track and that will reset each time you take a long rest. And then if you go to your actions, you should see Divine Smite in there.
Yes.
And you should see below that reactions, fighting style, interception. So if you want to remember what interception does, so you can use when you see someone get hit, if they're within 5 feet of you, you can use a reaction to reduce the damage they take by 1d10 plus 2. So up to 12 possibly.
Okay.
Or as low as 3, which would suck. Cool. Do you have questions, comments, concerns?
No questions about this. I always have questions about D&D, but
all right, well, throw them at me. What do we got?
Okay. Let me bring them up.
You have a list.
I do. I always have a list.
All right, great.
I write these when I'm at work or when I'm just thinking, and then I write them down to bother you with them.
Let's rapid fire them. Throw them out here.
Is there a Nevada Kedavra type spell?
Yes,
D&D?
it is called Power Word Kill.
Okay.
And I will read you Power Word Kill.
Yes, let's go.
So Power Word Kill is a 9th level spell. Spell level in D&D is 1 through 9. So 9th being the highest. Casting time 1 action, range 60 feet. Components is just verbal. So even if their hands are bound, they can still do it. You utter a word of power that can compel one creature you see within range to die instantly. If the creature you choose has less than 100 hit points, it dies. Otherwise,
100.
Yeah, if they have more than 100, the spell has no effect.
Ooh, okay.
Which you figure,
because
you figure you're getting 8 hit points a level, right? Is that give or take?
Holy shit.
So you'd have to be like level 12, level 15. I don't know. There's math there, but
oh hell. Okay.
Yeah, you just die.
Just like that.
Yeah.
It's dead. Instant.
But so you were asking if command can do that? No, because there's this much more powerful spell.
Good to know.
Which, as a player, power word kill.
Ooh. Spiffy.
And,
to the point. I like it.
And bards, sorcerers, warlocks, and wizards get access to it.
Good. I can't wait to stay wary of one of them.
Yeah. Be afraid of very high level wizards.
Okay, I will.
Be afraid of very high level wizards. All right, next question.
Okay. So you know these gods in D&D. If you commit a sin in the eyes of a god, can they punish you, and how will they punish you?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
So, the gods do not have direct... In D&D in general, right? It's going to be different in every setting in every world, right? We're playing in the Forgotten Realms, so we're following the Forgotten Realms rules. But generally, most campaigns are not going to have every time the players do something the DM thinks is bad, they get punished, right? That's not a very fun way to play D&D.
No.
But as far as like the lore behind it, the gods do not have direct control over the mortal world anymore. They used to, but they don't anymore. There was like
they're not like hanging out. I can't go like catch up with them. Shoot hoops.
Some of them you could. Gods in D&D have in the Forgotten Realms rather there are greater powers and lesser powers. So some of the lesser powers are hanging out, but they would be hard to find, right? They're not just like, it's not like, oh, I know Zeus is in his temple here, right? It'd be like, no, Bahamut hides as a monk and wanders the world, wanders the world pretending to be a monk, right?
Okay.
Now, as a paladin or a cleric or a warlock, paladins, clerics, and warlocks all get their power from a higher power, right? With clerics,
have I taken my oath?
You have not taken your oath officially, no. Okay. But so like for a cleric, that's a god, right? Cleric is the representative of a deity or at least a religion, right? A warlock gets their power from some great creature of greater power, like a fairy queen or a great old one, like Cthulhu, or a devil or a demon or something, right? If they go against their warlock pact, they've made a deal with that creature. If they break that deal, they'll lose their warlock powers.
Oh, they lose their powers. Okay.
Right? Paladins, if they break their oath, they would lose their paladin powers and become an oath breaker. Which gives you other powers, but you lose the powers you chose. And you become an oathbreaker paladin.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Now, that being said, if you do commit something that a god sees as a sin, generally, the way the afterlife works in D&D, if you've followed the teachings of a god, well, when you die in the Forgotten Realms, you go to a place called the Fugue Plane, which is sort of like Purgatory. So you go to Purgatory, and then the gods sort of pluck people out who have followed their teachings, right?
Okay.
And then they take them to their realm instead of awaiting in the Fugue Plane. Because there's hundreds of gods in D&D, right? It's not just like, oh, well, everyone who is good goes to the afterlife. It's no. And
yes.
If the god deems you worthy, then you go to their afterlife.
Okay. So Nyalor, descendant of Cthulhu?
Inspired by.
He looks like an Ood.
Yeah, the Mind Flayers, they definitely look like Ood, or Cthulhu. Let's pop him up here. They are.
Is that his tail, by the way, or is it the rest of his cape?
It's part of his cape.
Dangling it. Okay.
Yeah, it's part of his cape. Very much.
Claws.
There are claws. Yeah. He doesn't have any sort of weird claw attack though.
Damn it.
They are very much inspired by Lovecraft. And the Ood, I'm pretty sure the Ood are inspired by Mind Flayers.
Yeah, probably. Yes.
Right.
Hold on. Got one more. So load for me. Do werewolves look like werewolves in this, and do vampires look like vampires? Like pointy teeth. Werewolves look like humans that turn into wolves. I'm afraid of everything in this game. We meet people and I'm like, friendly.
I am going to, instead of giving you a straight answer, I'm going to have Aurelia roll me a religion check.
Okay. I'm going to do it in the D&D Beyond, because I'm hoping that will make my throws better. Okay, so a D20?
Yeah, you could just click your religion skill on your character sheet if you want, and it'll add your bonus.
Ooh, okay. I'll do it that way. I probably won't get many chances to do religion, so...
You will. So the way you... if you want to know about creatures, depending on the type of creature, will change the...
Ooh! 6.
Yeah, you think they do.
Cool. That's a lot of information. It's definitely gonna come in handy.
Yeah. So if you wanna know about creatures in D&D, the way you do that, for example, things that are like traditionally horror creatures, like werewolf, vampire, usually undead. Werewolves aren't undead, but I'm gonna make it a religion check because I think very much like the Van Helsing thing. That would be a religion check. If you want to know about Mind Flayers, it'd be an Arcana check. If you want to know about dragons would be either Arcana, History, or Nature. Right? Okay. And the reason... because Arcana, dragons are big, giant, magical creatures. History, because humans have, throughout history, fought dragons, so there's going to be a bunch of information on them that way. And... Nature, because they are naturally occurring magical creatures, right? They exist in the natural world. Whereas werewolves are like the result of a curse, which would be religion. Yes. Maybe Arcana. It could also be an Arcana check. If you want to know about like an owl bear, that would be nature, right? If you want to know about like the fairy queens, or pixies or sprites or whatever, that would be nature or Arcana, right?
Okay.
Because they're magical creatures from another dimension, but they're tied to nature inherently. If you want to know about like the guardsmen of a specific city, that'd be history.
Okay.
Or insight. It might also be insight or investigation, but usually that'd be history. But if you're like, okay. I see those guardsmen, what can I tell about them? I'd ask you, are you trying to find out about their posture, or, how they're equipped, or, what the rumors say about the guards, right? And those are all different roles depending, and they'd give you different amounts of information.
Okay.
So.
Good to know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know anything about werewolves or vampires and how they look, but it's fine. Okay.
All right. Cool. You're leveled up.
Thank you guys for watching me level up Aurelia. I had such a fun time, and if you have any questions for myself or my character, you can jump onto our Discord and you can ask me in our Q&A channel. But otherwise, you can catch the next installment of Rookies and Rulebooks over on Twitch and YouTube on the 10th, which is Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific. See you guys there.